instead of finding your son and blah 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 blah, whatever, you know what happens. Instead of that silly crap, what they could have done, made it so like your son is now like a grandfather or he's dead, and you find your son's son, his great grandchild. So it'd be like your great grandchild, but he'd be like the same age as you, and he's like the leader of the resistance. Like he's like John Connor. Every time I just, you know, jump into the world, I just want more. I just want to play more Fallout. You know? I feel like they did everything right with this game. They just needed more side quests. More, like, people hanging out of the windows like they did in The Division. Like, a guy like pokes his head out and he's like, hey, come in here. Like, I don't know, just like a little more, like, NPC settlements and stuff. Little things like that. There wasn't enough like side towns. And the ones that there were, like Good Neighbor was awesome. That new reinvented Megaton Diamond City, it was not very enjoyable. There wasn't much to do there. At least anything that was fun. So I don't know. I don't know. It's like, don't work on Fallout 5. What you should do is work on a Fallout 4 expansion pack. Like, do your DLC. That's fine. But make a traditional expansion pack where if you started a new game, it would feel different from the beginning. Whether you started a new game or you continued from your old one, it would feel like a different game. Put like, I don't know, just put more stuff in it, more little things that spring up. Just to build on what you have, sprinkle things all around the wasteland, extra stuff. That's my opinion. Make an expansion pack. Just build on top of the current map. Don't make all these little places like Long Harbor where you go off here. Like, that stuff's okay on top of an expansion pack. But I feel like they should just focus on adding more content to the current game, and people would buy into that. They would. Someone like me, if they, you know, if every other little city, if every other little place along the way, what is going on? Did the game just die? I think we lost Fallout 4. Oh, wow. So, yeah, I would play the game again. If, you know, you say you went to Sanctuary for the very first time in an expansion, but there was a little bit more for you in Codsworth to explore, and let's say you know, went to what's the first town called? Started with a C. Concord. So you go to Concord and there's actually like a little settlement of people there. Not like the people that you save, but, you know, like, or you save them and then they develop a little city there, and there's some side quests and people to barter with and trade with, and there's like a little trade route, and you get some side quests to go out and hunt things down and help the people and watch them grow a bit, and Concord becomes this flourishing little city, and that like, to me, is just like, oh, that's so much good content right there. And then you sprinkle in some little cities around Concord where you can go and do some stuff at, and then you just keep doing that throughout the game, all over the place. And I would play through the game. It would give me a new reason to start a new character, expand the skill system a bit, you know, make some changes, and I would just love it, love it, love it, love it. Just build on what you have, because what you have is good. That's my opinion, and I think people would buy into that. I think they would enjoy an expansion pack, and obviously expand on the story. So what happens after all that crappy storyline? And you know what I have to say about the storyline? While I loot, I'm just gonna talk and fill your brains with my perspective. I didn't really like how they did the synthetic robots and stuff. That's just my personal preference. However, because in my opinion, the Enclave is super scary and it would have worked, and I think it could have been really awesome to have this big hulking enemy. Instead, they kind of made it out to be the Brotherhood as this big hulking enemy, these big assholes. But if anyone knows anything about the Brotherhood, is that they don't have the technology that we think that they do. Like, they should not have a Pridwin. I mean, they barely have enough parts and tools to scrap together their own power armor. I mean, you know, they were like the Wasteland's only chance against the Enclave. They didn't have a lot, and that's why the Brotherhood needed their numbers. That's why they recruited so many people. They were stronger in numbers, and they tried to find as much technology as they possibly could so that they could go and fight back against the Enclave. But in comparison to the Enclave, they were just little meat bodies. They were nothing. So the fact that they had this Pridwin and all this crazy stuff, that's something we should have expected from the Enclave. All these vertibirds and... Wait a second. Did I just come back outside? What is going on here? My bad. So yeah, the Enclave would have had all the stuff that the Brotherhood had, and the Enclave should have been painted out the way the Brotherhood was painted out in this one, but much, much, much more terrifying. So I feel like they've spread themselves thin by going, okay, let's make the Brotherhood like bad guys, look like kind of bad guys or assholes, give them all this really cool stuff and make them threatening so you have someone to betray or fight or kill in this storyline. And you know, they could have gone a lot further with that had they chosen the Enclave. And then then people would want to befriend someone like the Brotherhood, and they would have been able to make them look like heroes and fight back. And there's just a lot of, you know, sides that you could have taken in this that would have felt better. However, that also a reason what I was getting at. You didn't have to choose the Enclave. What would have been a great choice is, okay, if you want to really run with the synths and stuff like that, I get it. But instead of having these like little conscious humans, make it like Terminator, like Salvation. Make it like Terminator Salvation. Oh, this is cool. And have those giant, you know, mech flying, like helicopter guys, and the Terminator style robots. Ooh, here we go, secret vault. Awesome. Whoa. Yeah, and yeah, if they would have made the synths more like Terminators from the Terminator series, and, you know, there could have been more opportunities for settlers and stuff to fight back against these crazy Terminators that are just like purging areas of the world. And it would have made more sense to build these settlements up with defenses and have these crazy things. And it would have made sense to have these Brotherhood of Steel guys having all these crazy electronics. And, you know, the Liberty Prime, that could have been like, you know, that could have been something that these Terminators, these synths, had access to. Like, maybe that's... Liberty Prime's like a joke in comparison to what they have, and they have like armies of these flying robots and these, you know, things that drive tanks. Like, they've basically got smart, and then they decided to build their own manufacturing thing, and they, you know, killed everybody in the Institute. They're like, they outsmarted them, and then they took over, created this better, you know, better weapons of mass destruction. And they came out of the Institute and start purging everybody. And they become the Terminators of the Salvation kind of thing. And they're super threatening, super scary, and a big, big threat to the Wasteland, and a big presence in the Wasteland, where you feel like you're running into these robots constantly. And that it becomes a big problem. That, to me, would have been a lot more exciting to go fight them at the end, to fight them at you know, at all sorts of different points in the game. And also with the whole like find your son, spoiler alert about finding your son, I guess it's a spoiler. instead of finding your son and blah 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 blah, whatever, you know what happens. Instead of that silly crap, what they could have done is made it so like your son is now like a grandfather, or he's dead, and you find your son's son, or your son's son's son, his great grandchild. So it'd be like your great grandchild, but he'd be like the same age as you, and he's like the leader of the resistance. Like he's like John Connor. And, you know, he's like got all these people fighting against these crazy robotic synths. And that could have been something cool. If they were to go that route, which they did, they just didn't go ham. And my attitude is all or nothing. Don't just dabble.
Sweet.
Go big or go home. Yeah, so what I was saying is, yeah, your son should have been long dead, and then there would have been like stories around the wasteland of like how he was a hero, but now you get to hear them through your like grandson, who's like your son's son or daughter or whatever, and there's all these like war stories of like what happened while you were in Cairo or whatever, and that could have been really fun. And then you get to help your grandson
over here
become the leader of this resistance and fight back against the Terminator Salvation Army. And I think that idea would have worked well, because I mean, now you look at things, they're doing this thing, the Assaultron. I mean, the Mechanist would just be like a person that's like, you know, after you've fought back or temporarily slowed down or blown up the facilities. The Mechanist might be somebody that like was trying to help resurface the robots for some reason. He's just a twisted human that he agreed with whatever the robots were doing, or the synths or whatever, and in my vision the synths, and then he tries to like start them back up again. And so he starts, you know, he finds some intelligence, starts up a facility again, and starts, you know, but they're under his control now, and he yeah. You know where I'm getting at with this. And then maybe we go and take him out, but what he's done is he's created some facilities which lead into a, you know, a perfect expansion opportunity. Planting seeds is the Mechanist. And yeah, so I feel like if you're gonna do it, go bold, man. Don't just go half-ass on it. So I wasn't too happy about the current story, but I could have been. Could have been. But that's alright. Still a good game overall. Got tons of gameplay out of it. Cripes. Anyways, I think I'm done ranting about what could have been. Let's check out what is. Oh. You juiced me. Oh, crap. I'm gonna die. No, 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 no! So Jezebel's just a bitch. I mean, look at how awesome I made her look. And she did not appreciate it. You got rocket launcher hands. Come on, lady. I was hoping...
you'll be leaving me behind. Typical.